Well, welcome. We're so excited to have you all here joining us today for this Qlik webinar on Qlik and C40 Cities Academic Program Datathon. My name is Jennifer Dankert, and I'm a senior manager at Qlik, and I run the academic program. Julie?
And good morning, everyone. This is Julie Kay. I'm the Executive Director of Qlik.org, as well as the Global Head of Corporate Responsibility at Qlik. And Jennifer and I are very excited to kick off this session today to go through kind of the challenges, the resources that are available to you all, and really the excitement that's been building with our partner at C40 Cities with regards to the solutions that you all are working on to share with them as we look towards a more climate resilient Earth. It'll be a pretty packed agenda for the full hour, but we'll be sure to leave time at the end of the session for some questions. So real quick, we're going to have Jennifer actually lead us through an overview of Qlik and the academic program for those of you who are new to the academic program. She has a lot of great content to share, as well as information about how to get involved and to expand your involvement in the program. I'll spend a few minutes talking about Qlik Corporate Responsibility and Qlik.org. These are the two departments and areas of our company that engage with partners such as C40 Cities Climate Leadership Group, several nonprofits around the world, as well as the United Nations, as we look to advance their missions with the use of data and analytics. Then we'll spend some time talking about C40 Cities and give you an overview of that organization and what they're all about in advancing global cities' efforts to fight the impacts of climate change. We'll go through the challenges and talk about kind of where they came from and how they were developed by the C40 Cities Climate Leadership Team, as well as Qlik. For 15 minutes then, we're going to go through an example to get folks actually excited about leveraging data, where you can find data, how you bring that data into the Qlik platform, and how you can begin analyzing it to then provide solutions that answer the challenges that were presented to you. We'll go through a list of resources that are available to you all, from training to online help to a whole Qlik community that's available to everyone to interact with experts with regards to how you can leverage the technology to solve these challenges. We'll go through next steps really quickly with Jennifer kind of leading us through the steps with regards to how you complete your challenges and then how you can submit them. And then we'll leave time at the end for any questions that people have. So it's a pretty packed agenda, but we're really excited, obviously, to have you all here to kick off this session and to learn more about how we can leverage data Qlik to solve these challenges. So with that, I'll hand it over to Jennifer to walk us through a high-level overview of the Qlik program and the academic program.
Thanks, Julie. So about Qlik, in case you're new to the company or don't know a lot about us, we are a privately held company founded in Lund, Sweden in 1993, and we're now headquartered in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania, here in the US. We support about 50,000 customers, and we work with over 1,700 partners across more than 100 countries. And we've grown to over 2,000 employees in our company. Before I talk about, I want to spend a little time here on this slide about who we are and what we believe, but before I go there, I'd like to draw your attention to this quote up in the left-hand corner. This is from Mike Capone, our CEO. It's on our Qlik.com website. And he says, "Our vision is for a data literate world where people, businesses, organizations, and governments tackle their most complex challenges with data. That's what excites us here at Qlik." I love this quote, and I know he means it. He says it often. Because of this challenge that we're doing. It sort of aligns very nicely with what we're doing. We're trying to tackle climate resiliency. And so it falls in exactly into what we like to do here at Qlik, which is why we're doing this. So who we are, Qlik helps enterprises around the world move faster, work smarter, and lead the way forward with an end-to-end solution for getting value out of data. Our platform at Qlik is the only one on the market that allows open-ended, curiosity-driven exploration. giving everyone at any skill level, whether you're the CEO of the company, whether you're in IT, whether you're a student at the university, just learning this. But it gives you the ability to make real discoveries that lead to real outcomes and transformative changes. And what do we believe? Qlik has the power to transform business and improve society. It's about empowering people to make meaningful discoveries that drive actual change. And we believe that data should be explored, not just queried. We believe in the multiplier effect. And let me explain what that is. So that's taking just one little insight, maybe in one area of business, or in this case, on one of these challenges, and igniting change based on that, just that one little bit of insight. That's the multiplier effect. We believe in getting data, or getting all data to all people. We believe in being good citizens. Julie's going to talk about this a little bit more. We believe that data is the new language of business. A quick overview on the academic program. This program's been around since 2012, and we've since grown to include more than 1,700 universities in more than 85 countries. And it's an offering that we provide to university academics and students like yourselves globally to get access to our software and our training resources completely free of charge. And the aim of our program is to improve data literacy among all of you. We know that there's a big skills gap here. You probably have heard about that. There's been a lot of studies done on this, especially recently, or particularly recently. And we want to make you more employable. And we do this by not only giving you training, but also qualifications that you can earn that can evidence your knowledge for future employers. We know analytics are being used at all levels of the organization more than ever before. And this trend is set to continue. So it's a vital skill that we want to be able to give to you. Once your application is accepted into the program, you receive everything you can see here on this screen free for a full year. And as long as you are still a student or a professor or academic at a university, you are free to reapply each year. In the ecosystem, you can see that we provide you with our Qlik Sense software. Right now, we are giving out 365-day subscriptions to Qlik Sense Business, which is our latest cloud offering that was just released this past fall. We also give you access to training resources on the software itself, as well as data analytic topics and data literacy topics. And we do that through our Qlik Continuous Classroom, which is our state-of-the-art self-service online learning platform. The learning content in there introduces you to the capabilities of Qlik Sense, but also analytics discovery, data literacy competencies, all these things that are complementary to the skills that you need, not always specific to Qlik solutions, but are critical for you to be successful. And by the way, this is the same training that we as employees take. It's the same training that our paying customers and our partners take. It's about a $3,000 US value per person. It's not marketing training. It's full-blown product and topic training. We provide the ability for you to sit and earn qualifications and a couple of certifications, again, all free of charge. This gives you the opportunity to provide we give you a digital badge and a certificate that you can then use on your CV or resume to help promote yourself for applying for jobs. We have created a data analytics curriculum, and this is product agnostic. This talks about various topics around data visualization, data analytics, advanced data analytic topics, and we give professors lecture notes and things they can use in the classroom, but even you as students can go out there and watch the videos and learn the material yourself on your own. We also provide a dedicated forum on Qlik Community for the academic program and a blog. And I have a team who blogs on there every week. We like to blog about different presentations and workshops that we've done at various universities, so it's kind of fun to read. And then we also provide some Qlik customer support. Again, everything on here is free for a full year, and you're welcome to reapply each year that you're still a student attending university. Okay, with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Julie to talk a little bit more about corporate responsibility and Qlik.org and C40 Cities and some Datathon topics. Julie.
Yes, thank you, Jennifer. And again, as Jennifer said, we're very excited to leverage the Qlik technology at the intersection of business and society to change our world. And that's really the premise behind Qlik.org. So we launched Qlik.org in 2019 based on the successful kind of outflow, if you will, of a corporate responsibility platform that was in existence for 10 years. We focus kind of our efforts as an organization really in three distinct areas. Number one, our employees. We have about 2,500 employees around the world. We're out volunteering time, working with nonprofits, leveraging our skills, whether it be data to beach cleanups, to really make the world a better place. A lot of great companies have wonderful corporate responsibility platforms, and Qlik is actually right up there at the top of them. Secondly, we actually provide some financial support to organizations so that they can fuel their organization and reach their goals when it comes to their mission, if you will. And then finally, in that third area of impact is what we're focusing on today, which is in the use of data and analytics software to forward that particular mission, whether that mission be of a nonprofit in the humanitarian or disaster relief sector, and or an organization like C40 Cities Climate Leadership Group, who is working with the largest cities in the world to combat the impacts of climate change and actually become more resilient for the future. So it's these three areas that Qlik.org now focuses on to promote, obviously, a better planet and a better world for all. So there are different ways in which we do that. And again, it's all about leveraging our people, our tech, and the culture at Qlik to make the world a better place. Again, we focus on kind of various types of nonprofits, whether it be in the humanitarian or disaster relief sector, in the environmental sector, and or in kind of healthcare sector. There are all different types of projects going on at Qlik where we've seen the value of data and analytics software helping these organizations achieve their mission. One particular example that we're very proud of is our work with the UN Secretariat. And this includes a partnership with the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change. For those of you who are interested in this challenge, the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change, the UNFCCC, are the creators of the Paris Agreement. And this particular partnership that we work with within these organizations actually drives, again, the value of data and analytic software to meet our world's greatest challenges. With the UNFCCC, we're building a series of applications so that private companies, governments, cities, even individuals can more easily calculate their carbon footprint, look to reduce it, thus reaching those goals as set by the Paris Agreement. This project of the Datathon fits within this global sustainability initiative, and we'll be very proud to showcase the solutions that you all develop and send to us to these incredible organizations that are working at the very highest levels to, again, promote positive change. Everything we do at Qlik.org is focused on achieving the Sustainable Development Goals, the 2030 Agenda. Specifically around climate, this Datathon actually will help achieve those goals. And now let's jump into the challenges to see how that actually can take place. I'm going to open up the challenge document that everyone should have received once you registered for the Datathon event. These challenges were developed in partnership with C40 Cities based on specific needs that they identified with regards to using data and analytics to help their organization work with cities to combat the impacts of climate change and be more resilient for the future. C40 Cities is an organization that was founded actually by several global mayors, such as Mayor Michael Bloomberg. The latest chairperson was Mayor Anne Hidalgo of Paris, and the current chairperson of C40 Cities is Mayor Garcetti of Los Angeles. 96 of the world's largest cities have come together underneath the C40 Cities umbrella to share ideas, share data, share policy changes, and even budgets and plans with regards to how their cities are working to combat climate change. Underneath the C40 Cities umbrella, these cities have an opportunity to cross borders, whether they be within a various continent or country, to start sharing ideas, again, so that with the concept that we can go farther together. I very much encourage you to take a look at the C40 Cities website and to dive into their incredible body of work and the impacts that their work are having on our largest cities. And it's not just the largest 96 cities that are part of the C40 Cities network that are benefiting from this. This information is public and shared to all cities of the world as, again, we work to actually create better transportation plans, more bicycle paths in our cities, fight the impacts of rising sea levels, for example, amongst our cities, and actually work together to create a global environment that we can leverage data and analytics to become more resilient for the future. The C40 Cities organization has launched what we call the C40 Knowledge Hub. This is an incredible library of assets, whether they be articles, tools, data sets, you name it, you can find on the C40 Cities Knowledge Hub. We're very proud of the C40 Cities Knowledge Hub because Qlik, our software, is actually the backbone of the Knowledge Hub. They use Qlik, for example, to create different types of data explorers. So the cities can come in and find out information with regards to their air quality amongst their city as it compares to other cities within the environment. So I very much encourage you, as you look at these challenges and begin to identify how you might actually attack one of these challenges, use the C40 Cities website as well as the C40 Cities Knowledge Hub as an incredible resource to help you design what type of solution you would deliver using data and Qlik to meet the Datathon challenge. Specifically about the challenge documents, they were identified as kind of the 5 top challenges that the C40 Cities team is working on to combat climate change within their global network of cities. We're not going to spend very much time on these challenges today during this call because we don't want to give anybody any kind of leg up, if you will, in answering the challenges. But suffice it to say, these challenges were designed and developed by the C40's team because this need is actually being present within their cities and within their teams that support them. These challenges, as we create solutions, will be leveraged not only by the C40 Cities team, but across their network of megacities as they look to be more climate resilient for the future. If we have time, as we have time at the end, if we have some questions about the challenges, we can answer in generic ways, but we'll leave that to the end for the Q&A portion if anyone wants to talk more specifically about the challenges. The point of the call today was actually, let me bounce back here to the agenda. The point of the call today was really also to create a way and show you an example of how you can leverage Qlik to answer one of these challenges. We want to give you a high-level kind of example, if you will, to help get you started. So let's go ahead and do that. As a reference example, the city of Boston, okay, one of the C40 Cities network cities, actually has a building ordinance. The city of Boston is looking to become carbon neutral, to be carbon free by 2030. And as well, a big portion of that, in fact 70% of the carbon emissions in the city of Boston to become more climate resilient, actually come from the buildings across the city of Boston. So an example of a challenge that actually we performed 2 years ago with the city of Boston is as follows. According to the city of Boston, 70% of the carbon emissions come from buildings. So they need to analyze this data. They created what's called BERDO, the Building Energy Reporting and Disclosure Ordinance, where all property owners of over 35,000 square feet need to report to Boston their electricity consumption data, as well as their square footage and use of building and things like that, as well as over a 3-year period, a plan to reduce the carbon emissions and the electricity consumption by that building so that the city of Boston can better track that data and actually reach its goals, right, as it rolls up in entirety. This project is a huge undertaking for the City of Boston. This is self-reported data that comes from the property owners to the City of Boston, and they have means by which you can enter this data, that then all gets accumulated in a series of CSV and spreadsheet files that the City of Boston Sustainability Department needs to analyze. Let me open up one of those here. Let's look at actually the 2019 reported energy and water metrics as reported by the City of Boston on their public-facing website. That spreadsheet looks like this. It's opening up here. It's rather large. And again, it's all self-reported data. Okay? So you can go to the City of Boston's Birdo website, and if you're looking at different cities of answering the challenges and looking at challenge 1 versus challenge 4, we gave you some links actually to some potential data sets that you can use. There are other data sets out there. There's so many data sets that are available publicly for you to answer a challenge for a particular city or a network of cities. Okay, but here's an example of the City of Boston's data that you can find publicly. You can download it in this CSV file, and they actually have not only 2019 data, but they have 18, 17, 16, and 15 as well. So as you can imagine, bringing all of those data sets into a tool like Qlik will allow you to analyze whether or not the City of Boston and all of these property owners are on track to meet their targets. So this is a spreadsheet that actually you can download from the City of Boston's website. What I want to show you now is how I might load this spreadsheet once I've downloaded it, just like any of the other data sets that you might find publicly, into Qlik. I'm going to go ahead and save it just in a directory here so we can find it easily when we open up our Qlik environment. I'll just save it. We're just going to save it right here in my documents folder. Okay, so now I have this data. I may have other sets of data as well, but now let's take a look at what is involved to load this data into Qlik. I'm going to open up my Qlik environment. Okay, and this should look similar to regardless of the platform of Qlik that you're using. But what you're going to do firstly is actually create a new application. We're going to create the Boston 2019 GHG data application. Okay? Again, this is just to serve as an example of how you can take public data sets that were either identified in one of the challenges or you found specific to an area or city that you want to focus on, and bring that data into Qlik, begin analyzing it, and developing a solution that can be used by C40 to answer one of those climate resiliency challenges. Now I'm in Qlik, and I'm in a brand new application. So let's see how I actually load up that data set. I'm going to bounce into what we refer to as the script editor. There are other kind of ways in which you can load data into Qlik. You can use a data manager tool. There's all different things that you're going to learn on the training. And if you have experience with Qlik, obviously this will not be new to you. But for those folks that are brand new to Qlik, will serve as a good example of how to load a data set in. The first thing that I'm going to do is create a connection. If everyone remembers, I stored that file, here it is right here, in my documents folder. These could be kind of stored on your desktop. You can actually use an API call to pull them automatically from a public-facing website through a REST API call, for example. You can load spreadsheets, databases, you name it, Google Sheets. Qlik has the ability to load data from anywhere. But since I have a simple spreadsheet stored in my documents folder, I'm actually just going to identify that folder as a source of data and then select my file. When I select my file into Qlik, we have really extensive data transformation capabilities in the Qlik platform. It's one of our key strengths. Like many people have heard me say, I've never met a data set I don't like or that Qlik doesn't like. We can load data from anywhere. We can transform it, we can clean it, we can kind of change it so that it actually applies more appropriately to another data set that we might link it to. But there's all different types of capabilities actually built into Qlik to transform data. This is a pretty clean spreadsheet. So you can see here that the column headings are identified in this Qlik kind of preview panel up here above. If you've loaded a data set and you don't actually see the column headings, it could be that there might be headers on your data set that you need to just increase the number of rows for, and or turn on or off embedded field names. It all depends on the data that you've downloaded. Okay? If you want to change the name of a field that you might be loading into Qlik, let's say that instead of property name, I'd like this to be just property. I can literally change that, and you'll see that Qlik's instructions to load this data set in and transform that data are automatically updated for me in this preview panel below. Okay? Once I insert the script, and again, this is very similar to the data manager tool if you decide to go that route, the script is actually positioned here in this loading environment of the back end of Qlik. When I was kind of teaching new nonprofits to start leveraging Qlik, I would talk about these 3 layers of Qlik, if you will. Every Qlik application has 3 layers. The first layer includes the instructions to load your data into the Qlik platform. It could be done through Data Manager, it could be done through scripting here. But it's really the instructions for Qlik to go and grab your data and bring it into the environment. That's layer number 1. Layer number 2 happens when you actually load data by just clicking on this button here, and Qlik actually consumes that data into the model. Layer 2 actually gets created when you load data and can be accessed and seen by looking at the data model viewer to see how you're modeling your data together. Here's our file now as part of the Qlik model. This Qlik model resides in memory inside your Qlik application. It's what powers all of your visualizations and all of your dashboards. There's some functionality here in this data model viewer, such as previewing the data. If I simply click on this table, I now see that that same data set, right, that we once had in Excel is now brought into Qlik. And you can see it here. You can also see that change, that really simple change I made from property name to property. Actually now, once that data is in Qlik, that field is called property because I transformed that data. Really simplistic example of our transformation logic that can be actually really quite extensive. But the data model is layer number 2 because layer number 2 is needed to power all of the visualizations and dashboards that you want to build to actually demonstrate your response to the solutions of the challenges. So let's take a look at and see how that's done. So now that we have a data model, we can actually flip here over to our application. This is layer number 3. This is where you're going to have all the fun. Now that your data's been loaded with the script, layer number 1, into the model, the in-memory associative model that sits in memory inside Qlik that powers all of the visualizations. That's layer number 2. Layer number 3 now are all of the visualizations and cool things that you get to do with that data, and where really, quite honestly, all of the creativity and fun is in working with the technology. You can also get to this kind of third layer by just clicking on analysis, okay? That's really opening up a dashboard to start using and looking through this data to, again, design solutions so that people can use data to make the best decisions towards climate resiliency. When I go here to the application overview, I'm presented with a series of kind of sheets, if you will, so I can create multiple sheets or dashboards, screens sometimes people call them, to actually start building up my visualizations. All of this is available in the training. If you've taken the Qlik training already or have had it as part of one of your classroom environments, you can also access training on how to build visualizations in the online resources. But again, this is kind of where all of the magic and fun happens. Let me show you an example of that. When I click on this My New Sheet, you get it presented with this sheet, right? This is an empty dashboard, so to speak. Now, to edit that sheet, you would just simply click on this Edit button, and this is actually just a toggle button on and off. You're either editing the sheet, thus creating and manipulating your visualizations, and/or using the sheet, using those visualizations to learn more about your data. In edit mode, you'll notice something else appeared over here on the left-hand side. We have our fields, of course. These are all of the fields that were actually loaded into the data model. Okay? These are the same fields that were identified as brought into Qlik from our raw data file. And by simply clicking on them and dragging them over here to my sheet, I'm just clicking and dragging with my right mouse button, you'll see that I can begin to start building up visualizations of how I might want to analyze this data. So fields are just the kind of columns, if you will, of your different data elements inside all of the different data sets that you've loaded into Qlik. I'm going to skip over master items here just for a second because it's one of the more kind of sophisticated capabilities of Qlik. And what it does is it actually identifies just, kind of ways in which you can create formulas or calculations that it can be used throughout your application without having to recreate them. But what you're going to actually use most frequently as you start and begin to answer these challenges is this third item here called charts. These are all the different visualizations that you can pull and bring in to your dashboard. Let's show an example of that. A KPI is simply just a simple calculation, okay? So let's do a simple calculation on our data. I'm going to click on this Add Measure here, and all I want to do is actually just get a count of the number of properties that came from this data set. Okay? Just as simple as that. Over here on the right-hand side, you'll see the different properties that go into actually building up these different visualizations. If I open up property here, you'll see its count of properties. Well, let's change that to be something a little bit more elegant. Okay? I can change the formatting, for example, and obviously there's no decimal, right? I just want a total property count, and that's all. Again, these capabilities and kind of the customizations for each visualization can get very, very sophisticated, and you can find a lot on that in the training and the online help resources. These customizations are also dependent upon what type of visualization you're pulling into your chart. If I want to add a bar chart, for example, let me just click on that. My mouse is just kind of acting kind of funny here. There we go. Let's add a bar chart. And here, let's add that same measure, a count of properties. Okay? But let's add a dimension. Let's add a dimension of property type. And here I have a bar chart now, just as easily as the KPI, that I can customize and show the number of properties according to property type from my data set. Okay? So as I now use this dashboard, I can click on kind of different elements in my dashboard. Everything is really open to me to leverage these analytics and actually create an environment where I can begin to make decisions and analyze this data. I have a data dashboard actually a little bit pre-designed from this same data set. Let's open up that. I actually loaded several files into my data model. Several of the years of data, 2019, 2018, 2017, and actually combined that with other data sets that I found from the Boston website as well. It's a little bit difficult to see that. Let me go, let's see if this will kind of enhance it so you all can see these columns. But in any event, what you're seeing here is the data model designed with multiple data sets, not just that one, but multiple data sets. But if I look at the analysis, here I spent some time with that data and actually created a more elegant kind of dashboard, if you will, based on that same type of data that we just loaded ourselves. If I want to look at property type, for example, and let's look at college and university, you'll see that Qlik automatically calculates kind of the totals, if you will, for my different selections in Qlik. And just now quickly kind of going through some different examples, we added some tables. That's just a different type of visualization. All to start analyzing this data so that the City of Boston can properly identify whether or not these buildings reporting their data were actually going to help them meet their target. An even more sophisticated example of this dashboard we can see here. And this is kind of how I like to develop applications. And I would suggest the same to you all. Start simple. Start by finding a data set, bring that data set into Qlik, and begin building out some visualizations, just like we did in this very first load. Then use your training, use the online resources to create dashboards and or examples of visualization that will be more sophisticated than just the very ones that you started with. And then finally, continue to massage that, add more data, look to what the KPIs are requested from the different challenges in the Datathon, and begin to build out an application that actually begins to solve with data and analytics in QlikSense how the C40 Cities network and a particular city can use data to better analyze and meet its targets. Here's an example of a dashboard that took a little bit longer than just the 10 minutes that we took here, but needless to say, all of these capabilities and beautiful visualizations all started from the very same place. They all started from that simple spreadsheet loaded into the model, the beginnings of the dashboard, and then were enhanced over time as you start kind of putting more and more of your training and experience into building out a more and more useful application. So that's kind of the end of the demo, if you will. What I wanted to do now was actually kind of bring up some of the resources that you can use as you begin to identify the challenge that you'd like to solve, identify the region or the city that you'd like to actually work with. Go find the data sets. We provided links in the Datathon document. You can also find more, just like this Boston City data. There's data on New York City. There's data on LA. There's data on Copenhagen. Just Google and you will find amazing amounts of data actually to bring into your analysis, again, to solve the challenge. As well, there are several Qlik resources available to help you. They're identified here in this document, and I think kind of the best one actually that I find and use most often is the online help, the help.qlik.com. If you go to help.qlik.com, you will be able to type in anything Let's say I want to build a bar chart. And Qlik will actually return to you several examples, even as you kind of go through these different lists here. Several examples, videos, there's a YouTube channel on Qlik. It'll be an amazing resource for you as you begin to frame out what kind of dashboard do you want to design to actually help answer the challenge. So I very much encourage everyone to kind of go firstly to this online help and seek kind of some resources, if you will, to actually help you design your application to answer the challenge. Another great resource that's mentioned here is our Qlik community. And you all should have received a link to the Qlik community page, as well as the specific area for the academic program where we're monitoring questions, answering questions, providing tips, and so forth for you all to help design as best a solution possible for these challenges, thus for C40 cities, obviously to leverage your solution as they work with their cities. Next, we'll go through next steps with regards to kind of how to submit your challenges, as well as kind of the documents that you need to submit to actually be included in the judging and criteria. One thing I want to kind of just reiterate before we jump into these next steps of how to submit the solutions for the challenge. Everyone's super excited about your engagement in this. There are a lot of data kind of solutions that are out there that folks actually, you know, are looking at kind of what might happen and what do we need to solve and all of that. What I can guarantee you is these solutions will be taken very seriously. We have seen firsthand how young people can get engaged in creating the most innovative ways of looking and analyzing data to help these cities, to help C40 cities solve some of these great challenges. That's why we kicked off this Datathon with the academic program and with the university students like you all. We are so excited to actually see what types of kind of solutions you'll design for these cities to address kind of some of the challenges that they're facing. So with that, I'm going to actually pass it back over to Jennifer to walk us through the next steps and how to submit your challenge, and then we'll open it up for questions and answers at the end for the last few minutes. Jennifer?
Thank you, Julie. Before we jump into what needs to be submitted, just a couple of quick reminders for everyone. As part of the rules for the Datathon, and also this is within the Datathon terms and conditions you would have agreed to when you filled out your registration form. Everyone who submits an application must be a member of the academic program. So if you're not already a member, please go to qlik.com/academic program. The link is there on the screen, and make sure that you enroll in the program. If you're not sure if you enrolled maybe a year ago and you're not sure if you're still a member, you can always send an email to academicprogram@qlik.com as well, or just go fill out the application again and we'll take a look at it and make sure that you're re-enrolled or already in the program. Also, if you have a team of 2 people, so remember the teams can either be 1 person or 2 people. If you have a team of 2 people, both members of the team have to register for the Datathon and accept the terms and conditions separately. So if you signed up and you put down that you're a team of 2 and you put down your team name, please double check with your other team member that they did go and register and they put the same team name in. We'll try to follow up with the ones where I'm not seeing the second person signing up, but we need both team members to register and accept the terms and conditions in order to be eligible for the competition. When you received your confirmation information about the Datathon, you received some links, and one of them was to our toolkit. And in that toolkit are the challenges that Julie already showed you, and then there's a template in there for you to fill out that looks just like this. And basically what we're asking you to do for the submission, and the deadline is April 3rd. You can see that there at 5 o'clock Eastern US time on April 3rd. We need a PowerPoint from you, and the template is after this. We won't go through every slide. It's in that toolkit. Again, there's a PowerPoint deck, and we need you to fill in that deck. You can add extra slides as you need, but we need at least those slides that we have in there filled out. You can use screenshots, pictures, videos. Like we said here, get creative, but make sure that you're answering the questions of the challenge. You will create your QVF from the software and save it locally, and then zip up a file together with your PowerPoint and the QVF. And like we said, if you want to include a video or media files or something else that supports your solution or your answer to the challenge, feel free to do that. And then you send that zip file to our Qlik FTP site, like I said, by 5 o'clock Eastern time, US time, on April 3rd. And then there's instructions that follow in the toolkit in that PowerPoint deck, which is the next slide here. I'm not going to go into all these details, but this is how you actually submit it. We give you the file convention, the naming file convention, and so forth. I do want to point out that per the Datathon terms and conditions, because I have received this question, can we do more than one challenge? We can only accept one challenge. So if from each person, from each team. So if you do submit two, we will be taking the very first one because these are time-stamped when you submit them, when you FTP them. So we will take and evaluate only the first one that you submit, just so that you know that. If you have questions, feel free to email us at academicprogram@qlik.com, or even better, post the question out on the forum that Julie mentioned that we have for the Datathon out on Qlik Community. That way others can see the questions and the answers as well. And then, Julie, I don't know if we want to talk briefly about the judging criteria. Oh, sorry.
Sure.
Do you want to go ahead and, I know you've done this, the judging criteria before. I thought maybe you could talk about that.
Yeah, no. So what we're looking for, right? Obviously, first and foremost, we want to get solutions back from you all that really are creative and an innovative way to leverage data, use Qlik, and actually find kind of data sets, if you will, that can be really valuable to these cities and to C40 cities. So first and foremost, we'll be looking at how the application addresses that need described in the challenge. Then we'll be looking at really kind of your skills at adapting kind of the data and the challenge together to kind of help create a solution that, for example, the city of Boston or some other city can use to actually analyze the data, just like the example that I showed for the city of Boston's buildings data. We'll be actually scoring the application based on simplicity and ease of use. Want to be able to understand the application and kind of how this can be used or leveraged by a city as they look to address one area of climate resiliency within the city. And then, of course, clarity and layout are important, and then a demonstrated level of Qlik expertise. This is just, Qlik can be as simple as kind of that first dashboard that I created in 5 minutes to as sophisticated as the elegant dashboard that was developed by the solutions winner 2 years ago for the city of Boston. So what we'll be scoring is kind of where your application falls along that spectrum. How this will work is each of these, actually the judges will be able to award each application up to 5 points of these each 6 criteria. So any one judge has a potential of awarding your application 30 points. And those judges' scores will then be averaged, and that's how we'll actually come up and decide which solutions are the best ones that we want to award as a finalist. So really it comes down to just, understanding the business need, understanding the challenge, and then using data, using the Qlik technology to develop an elegant solution that the C40 Cities team, as well as some of the cities within their network, can use to answer one of those questions when it comes to climate resiliency within their city.
Perfect.
So with that, I think and these are just kind of the slides that we'd like everyone to use as a template to kind of answer how you went about solving this challenge, what data you found, what are your observations, and what are your conclusions for these cities. And now I think we have a few minutes for questions if anybody has them. And, we'll be happy to answer them here. And as well, like what Jennifer and I mentioned earlier, we have the community academic program area where we're also monitoring questions if you have them about either Qlik from a technical perspective, data, and or the challenges themselves.
And I would say you can either unmute if you want to just ask the question directly, or there is a chat panel you might have to search for a little bit on your screen, but you can also write a question to everyone in the chat panel. We can answer the questions there as well. I don't think we have any that have come in yet, Julie. I don't see any.
I don't think so. We must have answered everything, Jennifer.
They're going to create these amazing apps. I'm so excited.
Everybody's competitive. They want to wait and ask them in the community. Yes. Oh, we have a question. Great.
Yes, I'm Mike from France. So thank you for your time organizing this webinar. I just want to know if I had to do every steps from preparing the data, modeling the data, analyzing and visualizing it using just Qlik, and it is one of the judging criteria. Or what if I worked on the data cleansing, for example, in Python or other tools, and produce the QuickX file and use it for a little data modeling and just visualizing it in Qlik. So that is my question.
And that's a great question. And absolutely, you are able to do that.
Okay.
That's fine. But what we want you to do, right? Because that's a very realistic kind of a way to approach data. Python's a phenomenal kind of data transformation and cleansing tool, and if that's something that you're familiar with, by all means, go ahead and do that. And then just in the PowerPoint slides, if you could describe your process by which you cleanse the data using Python, for example, just make that apparent. But you will absolutely receive, from a creative, innovative kind of use the best tool for the job kind of perspective, you absolutely will get, credit for your application.
That answers my question. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. And some folks might not know, but there's actually, even in the visualization side, there's a way to actually model your data in Qlik and then leverage like R or Python to visualize it. You can pull data from Qlik in the API into R or Python if you want to visualize it there. Now that's obviously more advanced, but Qlik is very open and very flexible like that. So we're really looking for the best solutions for these climate resiliency challenges. So definitely leverage your skills, the latest and greatest technology, Qlik obviously, but use your kind of creativity and spirit to create the best solution possible. Just try to explain that and your methodologies in the PowerPoint document.
Yeah, and Julie, I don't know I guess we've kind of said this, but just so that everyone understands that we'll be voting, the judges will be looking for the top winner for each of the challenges. So those will be finalists that we want to then bring to QlikWorld, our company conference. We have partners and customers attending as well as employees, so you'll have an opportunity to network and meet people from all over the world, from all different companies, as well as attend sessions. We'll have you present your solutions there, and we will announce an overall winner at the conference itself. So understand that we are looking for, we'll be judging and basing the finalists on each individual challenge as far as who's going to come to QlikWorld with us. And Julie and I will be there, and people from my team, some other people will be there. We'll get to meet you face to face. I'm excited already to say hello. Any other questions?
Nope, I think we're good, and we're at the top of the hour, Jennifer, so
Perfect.
there you go. Thank you, everyone. Really, really looking forward to seeing the solutions that you design. And on behalf of C40 Cities, Climate Leadership Group, their network of cities, as well as Qlik.org, Jennifer with Academic Program, thank you for participating in this. I mean, it will be very, very useful and very valuable as we move forward. So thank you.
Excuse me, just
Oh,
I had
question?
mic problems. I have a little question at the end.
Sure.
I didn't really understand what you said about challenges. How many challenges can we submit? Like, I'm lonely in my team, and I want to know how many challenges I can do. If it's just one, or I can submit several.
It
You
is
can,
actually just, oh, go ahead, Jennifer.
oh, that's okay. I was going to say you could work on as many as you'd like, but we'll only be judging one of them. So whichever one is the first one that you submit is the one that we will be judging. So really, you can only submit one solution to a challenge.
Okay. Thank you
But
for the answer.
you're welcome to look at the others, and play with them all and then decide which one's your favorite. Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Good luck.
Thank you all. Bye.